Welcome to your 2026 Grand Star walkthrough, and this is the floor plan 3444. Okay, as you're sitting in the driver's seat, there's a switch just to your left. As you come in the coach, you'll be able to reach it. If you had your coach in storage, you'll need to turn this on. This is your chassis battery disconnect. Right now it's on, it's illuminated. And when you press this, the illumination goes away and the battery is disconnected from the chassis. Press it again at the top and it comes on. You can't turn this off if the key is turned on, so just remember that. If it's not shutting off, make sure your ignition key is off. Your seat adjustments are here and going towards the front of the seat. This one is tilting the seat back, and then as you release it, locks into place. This is for your lumbar adjustment here and here. Just press and it'll change the way your upper and lower back is. This is the air increase. It brings the seat up or releases to go down. Once you have it where you want, you can lock it into place here. That locks it when it's down. This releases it so it can move. As you move towards the front, there are some additional controls in the front. This one unlocks the seat so that you can move the seat forward and back here. And this one is the tilt, so you can move the seat. You can move the seat. If I'm sitting in it, you can move it and tilt it up and down like this. There's a bar here. The bar also has an adjustment. If you lift up, and then it locks into place. So those are your seat adjustments. And just remember, since it's on air, it's an air ride, this adjustment will require that there's air in the system. There's lights down here. The lights can be dimmed. There's a switch in the front. It's called footwell. If I press the footwell switch, the light will go out. If I press it again, light comes on. There's an adjustment here for your steering column and for telescope. Once you get it where you want for your adjustment, then just lock it back in place. This, of course, is your ignition key. That's the accessories, and then to start it, you would just put your foot on the pedal and start here. Turn off, just go up. Okay, so although you have your power locks that you can lock and unlock here, you do have a manual lock here, so you can lock and unlock it if you like manually. To the right is unlock both doors here in the front. These are your windows, right and left. These are your power mirror adjust. So if I want to make an adjustment, this is the heat, first switch. For the mirror heat, if you've got frost on the mirror or moisture and you want that to evaporate, just turn the heat on. But then to adjust the left mirror, you push on the left mirror button and then you can adjust up or down. You can see the mirror will move up and down or tilt. And then to do the passenger side is the same way. When you're done adjusting or with the heat, just turn it off. Just to the front of that, you have your lights, your marker lights and your headlights. And all the way up is off. We have the ignition key on, that's why the dash is lit up now. If we turn everything off, we'll go out. Once our headlights are turned on, the left-hand switch here is for bright or dim. So you can bright or dim. The windshield wiper on is here, and delay, and then on all the way is, that's your delay. This is on, and then on fast. Turn signal is left and right. And of course, if you want the washer solution, you can just press this button and the wiper wash will be spraying. Our first panel cluster on the left-hand side of the steering wheel is for scrolling up at the front. If our key is turned on, to get rid of this air supply being low, we have to start the engine. And once that goes out, you'll be able to scroll through the other icons. Okay, so now we have enough air pressure to scroll. You can see we're at the home page here. To scroll through the other ones at the steering wheel, we can go here, and then we have selection up and down. So you can scroll through that icon with the up and down arrows. The wrench, same thing, press to the right, and then you can scroll up and down on that icon, and then the last one is the gear. And of course you can go through those settings and scroll up and down there. Once you're in the setting you want to adjust, then you would make that change here and then press OK to make that change. There is a volume up and down here, and the return button here. The right hand cluster has your phone hang up or make a call here. You've got your intermittent, I'll turn the engine off. You've got your flash for your marker lights or headlights, flash here. You've got your cruise control here. To set it, press here. To cancel, the center button, cancel your cruise. And the plus or RES is resume. And this is your favorites button once you set your favorites in the home screen. The RPM indicator is the large one here on the left. Of course, this is our selection screen. We can scroll through here. You've got your mile per hour or kilometer per hour there. Your oil pressure is here. Your fuel is here. Air pressure for your air ride, and your water temperature is there. And of course your headlight indicator is there. Now it's off or on. So key has to be on for your headlight indicator, and then bright is the blue one over here on the left. Moving over here to the yellow parking brake, this has to be engaged or pulled back. Once you come to a state of rest, you want to pull your parking brake. That's air operated. Once we turn our engine on and have it running, and we want to put it in gear, which is right here, then we would make a selection, drive or reverse, and then push this forward. You can hear the air brakes release. If we're parked, we want to make sure that's pulled out towards you. To go into drive, we go up with the arrow towards D. Neutral is in the center, and reverse is back here where the R is. There's another selection here for the gear operation, M and A, manual and automatic. There's another selection here. Once you get to the M and A, you have up and down selection. We'll go ahead and start to show you how that gear indication shows on the wheel. D, and then it shows neutral for N, R for reverse. And then of course when you're driving, that's when you can make the selection here. The exhaust brake is the one that I'm showing here with the circle. If you want your exhaust brake to operate, you'll have to turn that on and off here. And then to shift through the manual is forward or back for plus and minus if you go in the manual shift mode. Just to the right of the parking brake, you have your emergency flashers on and off, your dome light for here in the cab. You have the footwell lighting, which we showed earlier, lighting on and off. And the automatic traction control is always on, but if you want the automatic traction control off, just press that and it'll show up here on the dash as off. So the cluster just below our lights and footwell lighting and emergency flashers are the suspension dump. If we want to get rid of the air in our suspension, we just press that. With the key on, we press it, and then our air will release. That stops it, all of our air in the rear. If our key is on, we're starting to air it back up. But if you'd like the engine idle to go a little bit faster, let's say you're parked in traffic and you want to make sure that your engine stays cool along with your transmission fluids, you can press this. It says engine PTO. That increases the idle of your engine. And another instance where you might want to do that is to air it up a little bit quicker. Turning it off, just press it, and our engine idle goes back to normal. When you hear that pop-off noise like you just heard, that means you're completely aired up and there's no more air that's filling the tank at the moment. So this is your Sony radio and screen for your cameras. To turn it on, the power button's up here in the upper left corner. Just press and hold that, turns it on. And this is your home screen with volume and scrolling and voice. Once the screen comes up, it gives you your time and it gives you your settings. If you want to see or view camera angles, then you would press your apps button and then you can view your camera here on the lower ones. Just pressing the bar icon here gets you back. Again, just press your apps and now you can choose any camera. Let's say you wanted to choose the rear camera, and that's how you get there. There's radio, Sirius XM, Bluetooth. If you want to connect to your Bluetooth, you can do that with whichever device you choose. This shows a previous connection. If you wanted to add a device, you would just press that. Then you would go to your Bluetooth, and then you would use this to identify this is the radio you want to connect to. Then you would choose this on your phone or device. Once you choose that, then you're connected to the radio. So you can play music or you can make those phone calls from your steering wheel if you'd like. This one does have CarPlay, so you can use CarPlay or Android. This bar control on this side is for your mute or volume. If you have your volume turned up, then this will just mute it out. And it will also mute on your steering wheel here. To use the voice assistant, you would need to connect to Apple CarPlay. That's the button way on the right. And when you're finished and you'd like to turn it off, you just press your left button down and release. There's a small microphone here. If you want to use this microphone, it's connected to your radio, and you operate it through the voice control here. Just to the right hand side of the radio, you have your two 12-volt power outlets. They're both 10 amp. You've got your louvers here for your dash air conditioning and heat. Just below the radio, you have your house battery chassis boost. You can boost either the chassis to the house or the house batteries to the chassis just by pressing towards that name and holding it down for 60 seconds. That will boost the battery bank that's low. Or you can go the opposite way for the chassis, holding it down for 60 seconds. And then of course you would, if your chassis batteries were low at that point, holding it down, and then you would go ahead and try to crank the engine over after you hold it down for that length of time. If you need to charge your batteries or you need operation of 120 volt appliances, you can start your generator here. Just press and hold that. And your generator will start. To stop, just press down towards stop. There's a USB and a USB-C charge connection port here with the blue light indicating that there is power on. So just below that we have our dash or cockpit controls for the HVAC. The HVAC has to be turned on to at least a lower setting to come on. The blue is for the air conditioning on this side here. And you can recirculate if you like, or leave that off. And then you have your other selections here. This is for your defrost over here. And then of course your settings for cooler or warmer. Again, once you go into the blue section, the system turns on the compressor for the air conditioning side. To turn it off, just go to 0. Over here in the passenger seat, the controls are the same as the driver's seat for adjusting or suspension. The window control is here, and lock and unlock the doors here. And of course, you've got your louver here for defrost or cooling. So we have an overhead bunk here. There's a control here on the right for the shade, which is above us, and we'll show you that in 1 second. But there's also a power connection for 120 volt and USB-C charger. As I step up, I can reach the bunk and pull it down. And once it's in the down position, I can take the ladder and connect it here so I can go up inside the bunk. For privacy, there's a manual shade here. I can just pull that down. The other shade switch was the one we just looked at, and you can operate that here. That's a power shade up and down. When you're done using the bunk, you just take and lift the ladder back up. And then you can retract the shade and then lift this up to stow it away. So here at the Dinette, we have 2 storage drawers. You can see here, you can put your hand in here and just pull out the drawer for storage there. And the same over here. This folds down and the cushions can be removed if you want to turn this into a bed. You just lift these cushions out temporarily while you put the table down. There's a release here. You just pull that handle down, and then this will push down. And then in the rear, There's a center cushion that goes there, but you just put these cushions back where they were on both sides, and then your center cushion, and then you'd have your bed. So the reverse order would be to lift the table back up after you remove the center cushion, lift up, and then lock your table back in place and return the cushion seats. Just to the window, we have a shade here that's manually operated. They're actually day shade and a night shade. Both just pull to lock in place and then release to go back up. They have crank out windows on both sides with screens. Left is closed, to the right is open. So here at your dining room table, you've got your fixed television, and below that you have your Bose speaker. Just above that we have our storage on both sides with a 120 volt outlet. On that side is the audio visual cabinet. AV cabinet is what we call it, or it's our term we use. The audio visual cabinet has your satellite and DVD. They're both plugged in here. There's 120 volt outlets here. There's an additional satellite prep in the center. If you look up, there's a plate that's ready for your satellite to be run. If you want to hook that up, there's more storage over here. So to operate the television for over-the-air channels, you have to turn on your power antenna. So to do that, just open our cabinet door here. This is our Winegard antenna, and this needs to be turned on. You can see it scans for channels. Once that's on, we'll turn our television on, and this is indicating how many channels it found. Now we're in a building here, so we can't show you the scan, but we'll bring that into the video for you. You can, once you've got this turned on, you can make slight adjustments here to the left or to the right. You can also press the button in the upper right to do an additional search if you feel that you haven't found enough channels. That's how you watch over-the-air TV. If you don't want to watch over-the-air TV, you can turn this off here, and then you have the capability of watching the cable. So the cable connection is outside, and we'll show you that in just a minute. So with our television turned on, we'll use our remote control to go to the home screen, press the home button in the center. That gets to this screen. And then this icon here is our selection for menu. So just toggle over to the left here and go to settings. So you'd have to scroll down to settings, then press the center button here, and now scroll over to all settings. And what we're going to do is we're going to scan for channels. If we scroll down here to broadcasting, then we select that. Press the center button again, and we go through auto program to find the channels. So press auto program, and we want to press the start to auto program. We have to have our over-the-air Winegard turned on, and once that's on, then we're going to scan for air channels. Yes, and it'll go through the scan and it'll show us how many channels it found. 39 channels. So we can either scan again, or we can go to our different settings or just close. You'll have to scan the same way with the Winegard antenna off if you want to watch the cable channels. So if you want to scan for cable, turn the over-the-air antenna off and then scan again for your cable channels if you have part cable available and want to watch cable. Now we should be able to connect with a channel here. Yes. To go back to the home screen and scan for cable, scroll left, back to settings, to the right, all settings, broadcasting, auto program, and this time we're plugged into cable, we've turned our over-the-air Winegard off, and now we can scan for the cable channels. Obviously, since we are not plugged into cable, we won't pick up any, but that's how you would scan for the cable. And you'll have to scan for channels for each TV location, whether it's out here or in the bedroom. And just above us here, we have our smoke detector. The smoke detector should be tested every week. If there's an issue where it won't come on, you can just squeeze it, pull it down, and replace the battery. If you replace the battery and you press to test again, you're good. If you press to test and you don't hear the warning signal, you'll have to replace the smoke detector. So we have our overhead louvers for our heat pump air conditioner. So our heat pump air conditioner is going to give us heat and cooling through these louvers on the driver's side. The air goes up into these filter vents, and these can be taken out and cleaned with vacuum and then soapy water, then rinsed, and then you let them air dry. When they're clean, put them back in and just press, and that locks them into place. That needs to be done weekly, at least weekly if you're in the coach using it every day. And these are the same way. If you need to inspect, you can just unclip and then press back in the center to lock in place. You can adjust the way the air moves out just by rotating the louver. You want to make sure the filter side stays on the door side all the way to the back of the coach. There's louvers and filters, and you'll need to remove them all and clean them all at the same time and then put them back when they're dry. So as you come into the coach, the controls are underneath this door for operating the inverter charger, the power management, the leveling, and your slide outs, along with your step control, block heater, patio lights, and the antenna we showed a little earlier, along with your awning controls for extending or retracting the awning and the lights, along with your water heater. So we'll start in the upper left. For your inverter, you've got two selections you can make with the toggle switch. Charger only to the left. Charger only will charge the batteries but not operate the inverter for power in your kitchen. So if you are in storage, that would be the typical place where you would have charger only to the left. In the center, that toggle is off. So you see all the lights are off. If I go to the right, that turns the inverter on. To the right, I have my power control system. This tells me what I'm plugged into. Currently 50 amp. If I'm plugged into less than that, it will show what it is. It also controls the load shedding, and it gives me load shedding status. So anything that's on, it says on, but if the load shed or power management decides there's not enough energy coming in to my shore cord, it will show that being shed. I can scroll through and see what the amperage use is. Let's say, for instance, on my air conditioner, I can scroll up and down to see what my line 1 and line 2 voltage statuses are. I can select by the center button. If I'm on less than 30 amp, I can scroll and then press the center button once I see the amperage that I need to set. Here, I can do that here. My equalizer or leveling has to be done with the power turned on. Once I have the power turned on, I can go to auto level. That will dump the air out of the coach, but we recommend before doing the leveling that you run your slide rooms or slide outs to the extend position while you're on air ride. After that is when you would hit your auto level button, and then the jacks will go down as the air goes out of the bags. When I'm done and ready to travel, I would hit all retract, and that will bring my jacks back in the up position, and then I can press the off button. In order for the jacks to operate after I have the power on, I would need to turn on the ignition switch. On your coach, if the equalizer system is not located here in the overhead, it will be in the front dash area. Just to the right of that, I have my slide out, in and out. I can press the in and the slide will come in. If I go out, it will extend. Before you extend your slide out, you want to make sure there's nothing on the outside of the coach before you extend it. You also want to make sure that the reveals and the gap between the slide rooms up on the sides or down are clear. If they're not, you'll need to move towards a more level area. Once you've determined that you have clearance to the outside and the reveal has the proper clearance, then you would press the out button and make sure that you're on air ride and the coach is aired up. Once that's out, then you would level. In order for the slide out to operate, you have to have the ignition key in the off position. The slide out will come in with the ignition on, but it will not extend with the ignition on. On the left bottom, we have this cluster here. This is your battery disconnect for the house batteries. It's turned on right now, so you have the red LED light indicator that it is on and connected. The step switch override, if you leave that turned on, the steps will stay out all the time, even though you're opening and closing the door. If you want the steps to go out and in, every time you open the door, they'll go out, close the door, they'll come in, then just leave it off. There's the block heater. If you want to start your engine but have it preheated, turn that on. You have your patio lights here, and of course the Winegard power antenna for over-the-air channel reception. Your awning control, extending the awning and retracting it here. This has to be turned on or in the up position in order for you to operate the awning in or out. And of course the awning has LED light strip that comes on when you turn the awning lights to on. The Truma Aqua Go water heater, you'll need to turn this on to have hot water. Since this coach is equipped with an LP tank and LP appliances, you've got your RV propane gas alarm here. The green light means it's on and it's sensing. If you would ever see the red solid light here and the alarm going off, that's a warning that you have an LP detection and you'd want to exit the coach right away and go outside and turn your LP tank off. As we come into the step area here, we have our ceiling lights all on, all off. Below that we have our fire extinguisher, heater vent, and we'll look at the vacuum attachments in just a minute. In the baggage compartment, you have your Intervac accessory kit. And this is the control handle here. The way it works is, as soon as this is plugged in, you'll have to remove the sticker here and then plug this in. Now we can turn on the Intervac with this button right here. On and off. There is a battery in here. If you need help on what type of battery, how to change it, there's a QR code. You can look that up. But the hose and other accessories are all in this kit for floor sweeping or any other type of cleaning you'd like to do with your Intervac system. When you're done with it, just lift up, pull out, and close. Oh, yeah. In addition to the vacuum system, there is a floor sweep that goes into the same vacuuming system. If this is opened, you can sweep dirt here, and that will go into the vacuum that's in the baggage area. And we'll show that later. So you can use manual floor sweep here, or you can plug in your hose and vacuum with the accessory kit. Located here in the mid hallway of your coach, you have your touch panel screen for controls. As soon as you touch it, it wakes up and it goes to the Newmar splash screen, and you can see the icons that are available here at the bottom. And as soon as you select one of those icons, it goes to that function or that feature. So if I would select tanks, that's going to display my tanks. Fresh, gray, black, and LP. It also shows water pump and my lights, my lighting control. I can turn my lights on and off from here. If I go and select my AGS, I can do my setup for when I want my AGS to come on or when I want it to stay quiet and not turn on. If I go to my HVAC screen, I can see that I can turn on my heating and ventilation and my air conditioning in the living room or the bedroom. When I touch any one of these settings, it turns from gray to red. That means it's on. So if I want to have my heating or cooling system on, I have to press that on/off button and make it red, and then I can control the mode. So currently it's in the off mode, so if I would press it again, now it's in the air conditioning or cool mode. Auto mode means it selects furnace or air conditioning for you. All you have to do is set temperature. Heat pump is the rooftop air conditioner heat pump. And furnace is your LP furnace. And since the furnace, we had that on for a second, you saw the flame come on and the furnace was going to give us heat. When we are in the air conditioning mode, whether cool or heat pump, we can leave the fan in auto or we can set the fan on low. If you set the fan on low, it's going to continue to run. You can hear the fan just came on. So if I want the fan to cycle with the air conditioner, then I just leave it in auto. Then the fan comes on with the air conditioner or the heat pump. If I go to my setup screen, I'm in my settings for enabling programming, HVAC, temperatures. I can set my time, for instance, if I need to change my clock to a different time zone or the time was wrong. If you hit the back arrow, you can go back to settings here. I can set it programming or weekly. Going to the Bluetooth pair, if I get this app called Connected Solutions on my phone, then I can connect my phone Bluetooth with pushing that button here. It's now in pairing. So this is flashing blue, and I would look at my phone and then it would be pairing with this app. When it pairs with the app and this touchpad control, it's going to be on Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is going to enable you to look at any one of these settings and you'll see this on your phone. So you'll be able to control all of these functions on your phone just like you would if you were on the touch panel here. Now there is a range around the coach and inside the coach, and it depends on the Wi-Fi strength, the Wi-Fi signal, and for pairing it relies on the Bluetooth. So refer to your owner's manual for more information on that. The lighting control is for all of the areas in the coach: stoolroom, bedroom, bath, kitchen. So if I press the kitchen, I can turn the lights on or off in the kitchen, overhead lights, and the living room, all off, all on here. So again, you can scroll through and you have control over all these functions that you see the icons for here at the bottom of the screen. Okay. Just below that, we have our fantastic vent. Open or on is the top button. To press it, that will turn it on. You can hear the fan is on, the lid just came open. We can change the speed control here, can turn the speed up or down. If we want to turn off the rain sensor, let's say there's some moisture on the sensor, but you still want the fan to come on, if you press and hold the down button for 3 seconds, the red LED light will come on, and that is your indication that the rain sensor, which is right in the center there, is overridden. If you want to turn the rain sensor back on, just hold the button down for 3 seconds and the rain sensor is working again or activated again. To turn the fan off, just press the blue button again. Fan goes off and the lid closes. Same operation in the bathroom as in the kitchen overhead. If for any reason this wasn't working and you wanted the vent to be open, you can reach up manually, and this black crank, you can open the fan this way, and the lid will open up. To close it, just turn it clockwise to close. If the fan is not working, there is a fuse up here. If you want to press up and turn counterclockwise, you can open that. Make sure your fuse is good. If you need to replace it, then just push up and turn clockwise to lock it back in. Okay, so this is the door for your full bath. To open the door, right now it's locked. The arrow points down. Just press down and the door will open into its pocket and it locks into place. You can hear it. As you enter the bathroom, you've got your sink controls, cold and hot, on and on is just up. You've got your vanity here. Above you've got your vanity lights, on and off. In this corner, you'll notice a wire coming down. That's your router for your Starlink. So that's an option. If you have it, you'll see it there. There's more cabinet space here. And of course your fantastic vent is overhead and the controls on the wall here. You have your window, shade, and open and close crank. The Dometic toilet, and the flush is here with the foot pedal. You have your drawer. This compartment is where your heater is, your furnace, and it says here there's a warning: do not store anything directly in front of or either side of the furnace, because these are louvers for the airflow to go in, so you don't want to store anything right there. Hot and cold lines coming in for your sink. So here inside the fiberglass shower, we have the handle control for hot and cold on and off here. But just below that, there's another dial control that you can rotate to the right or to the left. This is the aquamizer control, which saves you fresh water. So if you turn this to the diverter position, the water that's coming out of your fresh tank or city water will recycle from the freshwater tank back in the freshwater tank as long as it's in the diverted position. And the advantage of that is it goes through this magic mushroom. As the water goes through here, if it's cold, it stays a dark blue. But once it starts to get warm and hot, this will change color to a white, milky color, opaque. Once that happens, you know that the water is hot, and then you can turn the diverter back to the left, and then the water will come through the shower. That will save water instead of all the water that's coming in the shower going into the gray tank. It goes into the fresh tank to recycle until you turn it to the left. And then, of course, you take your shower. Keep in mind that if you leave this over to the right and the city water is on, it continues to recycle the water into the fresh tank and it will overfill. So you don't want to do that. So you want to always put it back in the on position and take your shower. And we have our skylight above the shower. Right now the shower doors are in the lock position, so when you're traveling this should remain locked. So once you're finished showering, just move the doors to the left and then bring that lock back down to lock in place. So I'm sitting in the theater seating here. To my left is the small panel control for the lighting, tanks, HVAC, and the AGS, which is your automatic generator starter. And it functions just like the main panel control, the 10-inch one. It's just a smaller screen. So you can set your temperature settings, your AGS or your lighting. You can view your tank levels here just like you can in the 10-inch screen, just a smaller version. We have our lighting control, home screen, and we can go to any one of these icons and control the coach from this position. Similar to the 10-inch panel, we can go to our tanks and we can see fresh, gray, black, and LP tanks here. We can turn our water pump on. We can turn our autofill on and top off. Gray is off. Back to the home screen, we can turn our lights on and off, and then back to the home screen again. Our automatic gen starter, we can from this screen or go into setup and set it up for quiet time if we're at a park and we can't have it running at night. And of course our HVAC screen, it's the same as in the 10-inch. We select the room that we want to turn on or off for heating or cooling, and then we go to mode. Once we go to mode, we can choose cooling, heating, or just auto, and it'll select for us. Then we can adjust the temperature to what we want. You might see the little hourglass icon, and that's just the time it's taking for that air conditioner or furnace to come on before it runs. You have to have the on-off selected. You'll notice when I turn that on, the hourglass comes on, meaning it's getting ready to start. There it turned on, the heat pump is on. But if I want to turn it off, we just press that one. Back to the home screen. We've covered everything except the TV lift, going up or down. To my left here, we have another window. This window you can open and close by unlocking and sliding up. It has a lock. Then to slide it down, just unlock and bring it down. It has day and night shades, so you can just pull the day shade or the night shade. The seats have a release here. If you pull, that gets your footrest to unlock. To store it, just push back down. And in the center here, there's cup holders here. If you want to get into the storage area, just leave this forward and then lift up. And you've got your storage area under there. Close this for travel. Just behind the seats, we have another window with day and night shades with crank to open. And close. Above our seats here, we have more storage area, and you'll notice this small cup is the sensor for the room temperature. There's a 120 volt outlet here, and that is GFCI protected. Moving into the kitchen area, we have our sink, a dual sink, and our stove. Small storage compartment there. Drawers. And below the sink here we have your water heater and bypass valves. Refer to your winterizing section of your coach to understand how to put it in bypass to winterize. When you get your coach, you'll have your set of keys, touch-up paint, handle for your whole house filter, which is located outside. We'll show you that a little bit later, along with your awning remote, TV controls, and your Bose speaker control, along with paperwork for your owner's manual and your Diamond Shield warranty. Your cooktop can be lifted up and folded to operate. There's a small battery in here. If you press this and you don't hear the igniters lighting, then you would have to change that battery. Obviously, you'd want to have this pressed down when you turn it on to light. There's no LP in this coach, but that's how you would light any one of these burners, is press and hold while it's igniting, go to light, and then adjust the burner to the level you need. When you're done, make sure these are off or turned all the way clockwise, and then wait till this cools down before you close the cover. This cover can also be removed just by folding it and lifting it out of the way. Just above the stove, you've got your microwave. The clock will need to be set before you operate. Just refer to your owner's manual for that. It actually has a dual lock. Newmar adds this lock as well as the lock that comes with the door on the microwave when it comes new. So when you open the door, it's firm, so you'll have to grab a hold of it, but that lock makes sure that that door stays closed during travel. So just above our sink, we have our dual cabinets, and with every coach, you've got your warranty paperwork and manuals for all of your appliances, for your plumbing, heating and air conditioning, exterior electrical, and all of your appliance information is in here. And those manuals are here, along with all of your chassis manuals here, and anything related to the chassis, and the warranty for the chassis is in this Ziploc bag. All of your paint codes and colors are listed here. Country club information and important notices are also listed on the tags in the back. The cord here that's plugged in goes over here to your microwave. So if you want to unplug your microwave or unplug it to remove it, you can do that right there. So you have your stainless steel Whirlpool refrigerator here, freezer above. There is a locking mechanism that Newmar adds to the refrigerator. So the refrigerator right now is open, but for travel, you want to make sure that it's to the left. Move it to the left so that door and the refrigerator door both locked. Then when you're ready to use the refrigerator, just move it to the right to unlock both doors. In the freezer section, we have our ice maker and ice cube tray. Right now the bail alarm is up, meaning it's not going to make ice. If we want it to make ice, just put our bail alarm down. Once the tray starts to fill, it'll turn off when there's ice in the bucket. But to leave it off or turn it off, just leave the bail alarm up. And to set for cooling, colder, or warmer settings are here. And you can see the snowflakes, they get larger. So the one on the right here is the coldest setting. Cooling on and off is this button here. So if I want to press and hold that one or change the settings, all on is the coldest. If I hold it down for 4 seconds, the lights will go out. That is off. Just beside the refrigerator, you've got your pantry with push to open drawers, close to lock, and they all operate the same way. They can be taken out, and you can adjust the level of the drawer here if you want to move some up or down. The pocket door between the bedroom and the hallway area operates the same way as the one in the bathroom. Just push to unlock, and then as you close it, it relocks. Just press down to unlock. The door is in the travel mode right now, so you want to leave it all the way open and locked for travel. All right, so we're in the bedroom now, and we've got both nightstands have a 120 volt outlet and a door with storage inside the nightstand. Just above the nightstand, you have a temperature sensor for this zone. On the side, there's a switch here for your bed lift. The bed lift is for when you are ready to travel and you want to close the slide room. So what you do is you'll reach over and you'll press this to lift the bed up, and as the bed lifts, you'll see it go back out of the way so that you can run your slide to travel. We have our window shades here. Each of these windows operates like lifting like this to lock, and then to release. There's small tabs that you press to unlock, and then you can close the window for travel again here with the lock. Pull our shade down. There are two shades, one day and one night. Just above the bed, you have two storage compartments. There's a small opening here. If you have a CPAP machine, you could put that up here, and you can put the hoses coming down through here, and you can plug it in at the top in the back. So there's another control panel for the coach. Let's say that you've come to bed, but you may have forgot to turn a light off or a function of a water pump, whatever. This panel illuminates when you touch it, and then you can just scroll through here to the area you want to control turning on and off anything you might have forgotten. The window on the other side is the same way as this one. Slide up to open, and there's a screen, and the nightstand is the same as on this side. If I move back here to the rear of the coach, we've got our emergency exit. This window has instructions on how to exit the coach. You want to use the pull handles to unlock the window on both sides, and then you would push the window to open to exit out. Step-by-step instructions are here. To relock it, just pull down, latch, and pull back down, and that locks it in place. There is no screen on this window, so it's only used in an emergency to exit. Below that, we have our panel to access our electrical 12 volt and 120 volt. The fuses for our 12 volt appliances are on the left, and they're numbered F1 through F26. If you need to change any one of these fuses, we have spare fuses here. If you don't know what you're looking for by number, just refer to the chart here. Each number and the name of that is listed here. This is your ATC Connect for your mobile devices that you can connect to your control panel and operate it from your phone, but you have to download the app first. On the right hand side are your breakers for your appliances and 120 volt, your main breaker at the top. If you have an appliance that's not working, check the breaker. If it's tripped, it will be about in the halfway position. Then you'll have to push it all the way to the left and back to reset it. These are all on now. When you're finished, just close the door and put your panel back on to cover it up. So on the slide, we have our storage for your clothes here, interior light. We have a television here, and the audio-visual controls are actually behind it. So to access that, just reach here with your left hand and pull this open. And then this is the area that you would put your receiver for your satellite, DVD player, or any other functions you want to connect to your television. All of the plugs are in the back for 120 volt. and the connections to the roof mount satellite are here. We have our HDMI cable here. When you're finished in this area, just close to latch. Below that we have storage drawers and more hanging clothes space here with the interior light. We have a washer and a dryer. Washer here on the left, dryer on the right. There is a notice that we put in the tray for the laundry soap and conditioner, just to remember to remove the outside drain cap before operating the washing machine, so that your gray tank continuously empties out of the gray tank, because the water that's coming out of your washing machine is going into the gray tank, and if you don't have it open, it's going to fill it up full, and then that water will start to come up into the shower area. So make sure that you remove the gray tank cap and open the gate valve for the gray tank so that it drains that gray water out into the sewer at any time you're operating the washing machine. In the center are more drawers for storage. And of course the dryer is here with the timer and temperature set. So to run the slide room in, if I'm ready to travel, get back on the road, I have my slide out in and out switch here. If you'll notice, if I press it, even though my ignition is off, the room is not moving in, because I first have to go to the bed lift and press this to stow it. This goes up and then the bed slides in to get out of the way of the slide that's moving. Once that's all the way in, then I can come back over here to the slide room or slide out switch and run it in. So now I would want to make sure that this sliding door is all the way stored in that direction before I run my full wall slide, because this slide is going to come and be right up alongside the bed front here. So we're at the front of the coach, and if you want to check your fluids in the engine compartment area, you have to unlock and lower the front. So you just unlock here and then lift to open. And then on this side, you're going to see your wiper washer fluid fill, engine coolant fill. This is an important gauge. If you're at idle, you'll be able to view a diaphragm. The diaphragm inside of here, as long as it's in the green area, is good. Your air filter is fine, but if it comes up into the red area, you can see the words change filter. So keep that in mind. If you're having issues with power loss or difficulty idling, check your air filter and make sure that you might not need to change it. Obviously, you can see your belts there. You can check your belts for cracking and wear, just a visual check there. If you need to replace your headlamp lighting, you can get to the back of those here. As we move around to the other side of the coach, you're going to see your fuse relay box, and to access that you've got these clips that you can open, check your fuses and relays. On the inside back of this cover is going to be the diagram and show you all of the locations. This is the dipstick to check your engine oil. This is your, of course, your power steering fluid and the level indicator here. This is your fuel filter, and just visually checking, you can see here, this is your transmission dipstick here. Make sure that you check your fluids for your oil before you travel. To close this, you just push back, and this will lower down, and then you'll have to lock it. So you'll have to bring this over and pull down, and that locks it in place. Don't forget to lock the other side. So before you travel, you should always check your lights. Marker lights on, headlights on, check both sides, turn signals left and right, bright headlights on and off. There's the turn signals. And you should go around the back and check the lights there. We'll do that in a little bit. And those are your emergency flashers. So as we move back on the passenger side of the coach here, you can use your ignition key to lock and unlock the door here. Lock and unlock. Just behind the door handle and the lock, you've got your side camera. This camera gives you a full view when you have your right hand turn signal on of the lane on the right hand side of the coach. We have our awning here. This is your carefree awning that you can operate from the overhead as you go in the entrance door, or you've got the remote key fob here that you can extend and retract here. So if you press it twice, it'll open. If you press extend again, it will stop. And then to retract, just hit the RET to retract, and once you hit it once, it'll go in and retract and come to a stop. It has a shaking sense ability, so when it's fully extended, if it was really windy and the awning starts to move too much from the wind, it will automatically retract. And we don't recommend leaving it out if you know it's going to be raining or showers. You want to retract it before you leave if you know storms are coming. Our first baggage compartment door going back, you have spare tiles and your intervac. Those spare tiles were taken out of the lot number that you have installed on your floor, so they match in color. There is an interior light here. You can turn on and off. Just above that, you have your outside entertainment center. The purple key in this case is the lock and unlock for the handle. So you want to leave that locked if you're not using it. Just lift up to open. The TV has a sound bar. The sound bar comes through with the volume of the television. It has two 120 volt plugs here with USB-C and HDMI connections if you need it. If you'd like to adjust the TV in a different angle, you can pull it out and rotate it either way, left or right. And then when you're ready to close the door, you want to make sure to push it back, and the magnets hold it in place. Then close the door when you're finished, and use that purple key to lock. Just above there, you've got your two windows in the dinette area. more storage in this compartment. This is the cushion for the dinette, making it into a bed. This is the one that goes in the center after you lower the table down. The step switch is on, so that's why even though the door is closed, the steps are staying out. If I want to have the steps go in when I close the door, then I would turn the step switch off in the overhead. Now there's a magnetic switch that when the door closes, it senses the magnets here and here on the door, and then that cycles the steps in. And when I open the door, the steps will come out. Now if you notice, the door, I closed it softly, so it's only in the first latch. When you're ready to travel, you want to make sure that the door is closed more firmly so that it goes into the second latching or lock position, like that. Now you can see it's even on both sides of the door with the trim and the door being the same. That's the way you want it for travel. But if you just want to close the door softly, if someone's taking a nap or you're going in and out, you can just close it in the first latch. There's two locks that you can open or lock here. The Trimark is the top deadbolt, and the other smaller Trimark is the door lock. So to lock the deadbolt from the outside, just like this, and then unlock is the opposite way. To lock and unlock the door, that is lock and unlock. To lock it from the inside, the top one is the deadbolt. You want to make sure that's retracted before you close the door. And then to lock just the door handle, that's this one. That's lock and that's unlock. This closes, so you can just open or close the screen door with this latch here. So if you want to leave that door open and just the screen, you can do it that way if you like. To get in, just unlock here. And we have a porch light above the door. Just behind the door, we have our Suburban LP gas furnace. When the gas furnace is operating, there's air going in and hot exhaust gas coming out. There's a warning on here that says hot. So if your furnace is running on a cold day, make sure that you don't put anything in front of here or you don't touch that area. Be extremely warm. Just below that, we have our inner vac. We need to make sure that our bag is installed in it before we operate it. We can connect the inner vac accessories right here if we'd like, and we can turn it on and we can turn it off from right here. So we can operate the vac outside or take the accessory bag inside and operate it there. We have a light in the bay, on and off. We have a tank here. This is our black tank. And the plug for the inner vac is here. We have a marker light here, our bathroom window there, rear awning arm. This is called the reveal we talked about a little bit earlier. We want to see these gaps when we come to a park and we want to camp before we run the slide outs out. We're on air. We want to make sure these gaps are not too close. As long as they're not touching or too close and we're on air, then we can run our slides out and then level. You'll notice an awning attached to the slide out top. As the room extends, there is a piece of fabric that covers the top of the awning to protect it from weather, rain, and debris for branches or leaves. You have your fresh tank here behind this panel. You can't see it, but it has a drain. So to empty the fresh tank, we can open this up. The drain is here. The duct bill is the overflow for the fresh tank, but this is the drain here. In this compartment, we have our inverter charger combination. We have to make sure that this is turned on and the green light's on in order to operate the control panel that's in the overhead above the entrance door. So this has to be on, turned on, to operate the one in the overhead. This one can be set to charger or inverter right at this location if you want to do it manually, but it does have to be turned on to operate in the overhead. And to turn this on, there's a switch right underneath here. You can feel a rocker switch. So if I turn that off, you can see the LED light go out. Turn it back on, you should see the green light come on. If I turn the overhead to charger, this LED light will come on. So that rocker switch has to be on. This has to have the green LED light to operate the overhead one above the door. In our last compartment door are the house batteries. The house battery diagram is here. If you need to change any of the batteries in the future, all of these wires are laid out on the diagram there. The house batteries are fused going into the house. Those two fuses are right here and here. So if you don't have power going into the house, those fuses will need to be checked. So we're at the back of the coach now, and you'll notice here we have our marker lights below the center one. At the top we have our rear camera, rear window, third brake light, and our hitch. And he's going to start the engine. Those are our brake lights coming on now. Left signal, right signal, emergency flash, brake lights on. He started the engine and he'll put it in reverse so we can see the reverse or backup lights on. And marker lights off. And of course, this is your hitch and your Bargman plug. So connect here for your tow vehicle or trailer. And this is the locking pin. For your hitch. Okay, so we're starting at the back of the coach on the driver's side, and moving forward we got another marker light, and our rear compartment is our wastewater and holding tank dump valve. So first you would have to connect to that if you're going to dump. Connect a hose. Open this, connect your hose to the sewage, and then of course open the gate valve by pulling it towards you to empty it out. We have a interior light here. When you're finished, put the cap back firmly and lock it into place. You can notice that it wasn't quite locked. So now it's fully locked, and then just replace our compartment ring and close that. Our next door forward gives a warning. This is the connection for the 120 volt AC. Do not exceed circuit rating. Just let you know that it's rated for 50 amp. This is your shore cord, and to connect that, we would just open this and put this through, and then pull the cord to where we have our pole to connect. We recommend 50 amp connection. The transfer switch, which is right behind the cord, will allow the generator to be used as a power source first. So if you're operating your generator, it's going to operate off of the gray cord coming in, power from the generator. If your generator's off, then it will use the power incoming from the cord. There is a power monitor here, so you'll always be able to look in this window and see how much amperage and power you have coming in. You can scroll up and down to see the amps and the power supply available. This plug here, you'll notice it's labeled tank heat. So if you want your tank heat pads to come on, you would plug that in. That's to use for cooler weather. The tank heat will only come on if there's a small amount of liquid in the tank. If the tanks are totally empty, that heat will not come on. This display is for the slide out room, and as it operates, these LED lights will show the amperage that it's using. Just to the left of that, our lighting control panels are here, along with the relay panels for the functions of the 12-volt items in your coach. If that needs to be serviced, this panel door can be removed to service that. Behind the PVC panel here, we have your battery disconnect and your fuses. You'll have to come in here and look at an angle. This will actually be moved slightly towards the center on most coaches, so you'll have a little bit better access. And then when you're finished with checking the fuses or replacing if needed, then just put the panel back and line it up with the Velcro. To retract the power cord, we just want to press this, and that will reel the power cord back in. And then we close that door, and then the storage door. Just below the power cord reel button to operate is our park cable. If we want to watch cable TV, or we have an outside satellite, a remote satellite that we want to hook up, we plug that in here. Make sure that the over-the-air antenna wind guard is turned off in order to receive this reception. Our next compartment forward is our generator. Our generator can be turned manually on and off here. Up to start, light is flashing, it's priming and preheat. And down to turn it off. Our fluids will be added here, and to service it, this door is removed for service. The hour meter tells you how many hours are on the generator, how many hours it's ran, and the breaker here has to be turned in the up or on position in order for you to use this and get power in the coach through the transfer switch. If for any reason it's tripped, it'll be about halfway down. You'll have to go all the way off and then back all the way up to on to reset that breaker. So if you're not getting power in the coach with the generator on, come outside, check your breaker switch, make sure it's all the way up in the on position. If it's not, just go down and then back up to reset. There's a vent there for the plumbing. For the washing machine, there's a vent here for the dryer. So you'll have some heat coming out of there when the dryer's running. You have your fuel fill door for your diesel fuel here. On our tire, just want to make sure that A visual inspection of the tire looks good, no cracks. Check our air pressure at our TPMS, or we can check it out here manually. Our next compartment door forward is our water bay. Our water bay controls the water that we get inside the house. There's a whole house filter that needs to be installed first. When you get your coach new, you'll have to install this filter in this canister, and that filters all the incoming water that's going either into your faucets and city fill, or it's all the water that goes through into your tank to fill up your freshwater tank. So after you install the filter, you'll have to connect your hose here, freshwater connection, to start using fresh water inside your coach. It goes into the water pump, through the filter, either into your tank, or it'll go into your tank if you have this turned on here. If that's on, it'll continue to fill the tank. If it's off, then you are operating it through the water pump. So if it's off, you need to turn your water pump on, and that will give you pressure inside. If this is on, that means that water is continuously filling the fresh tank. So if you leave this on with water flowing in here, water pressure coming in here, you could actually overflow the fresh tank. So keep an eye on that. If you see water coming out of the duckbill, which we showed you on the other side, come over here and turn this off so that the fresh tank stops filling. So with this handle in the off position, the water pressure coming in here is the water pressure going into your lines in the coach. It's no longer filling the fresh tank. When you're done with the water, you can close it here. If you're ready to rinse your sewage, that's what this connection is for. But first, if you're going to drain your tank, this is the drain outlet. This is similar to the one in the back. Needs to be removed. This needs to be taken off, and your hose, sewage hose, connects here after you remove the cap. Connect your hose, run your hose out to your sewer connection. Then to drain it, just pull the gate valve towards you, and it will drain. After it's done draining, you can connect here, and you can rinse the sewage tank, leaving this open so that the water rinses the tank and rinses out the drain. When you're finished, turn the water off, close the gate valve, disconnect your hose, and put your cap back in place. This is the outside shower. If you don't have your hose connected here and you want water pressure, you'll need to turn on your water pump here, on and off. Just touch it once. If you need light, you've got it there. This is the outside shower rinse, so when you turn your water on, hot or cold, you can rinse off things in this area. When you're finished, just store this back inside here. There is a bypass valve here, so when you're winterizing, you would use this hose to connect to a tank of winterizing solution. I put it in bypass. There's a warning here before you do this. If you have a whole house filter, be sure to remove the filter and the housing and reinstall the housing before running the antifreeze through here so you don't contaminate your filter. You can reuse it if you'd like. After you're done winterizing, which means you're turning on the appliances and the sink and shower and flushing the toilets, so the winterizing solution is going through your coach after you're finished, then you want to turn this off, turn the water pump off, put your cap back on here, and you're winterized. Just refer to your owner's manual and Noogle to get more information on winterizing. The blue is cold line, the red is hot. These are low point drains, drain outlet, outside. So if I want to drain the lines, I can just open and that'll drain out all the water before I winterize. So you want to have all the fresh water drained out before you winterize. When I'm finished, I can just put my floor cap back on, screw it tight, turn my light off, and close the door. Just above that compartment, we have our Truma AquaGo. This is your water heater. And to access it, we just open this door, lift up, and the door just hangs down. This is an LP appliance. To winterize it at the end of the year, I just open this up, and as I pull this down, I'm going to let the water drain out here. When I'm done, I just close the door. There's a small plastic container that's in there. That's used to decalcify the system. Just refer to your owner's manual once a year to do that. There's a pressure relief valve here, and your power switch on and off is here. When you're finished, just close and rotate your knob. This compartment is more storage. There is an on-off valve in the back there. That's the drain line for the slide that goes and the water that goes up into the kitchen area, so you can drain that water line. In our next compartment forward, you'll notice there's no lock because this is an LP tank, and if someone would smell LP, you'd want to not have it locked so anybody could open it, and then you would turn off the tank here clockwise. So if you ever smell gas, think you might have a leak, just come over and turn it clockwise to turn the tank off. This is the regulator for all the gas that comes out of the tank. It's regulated here, and this cover can be removed, and that can be set to what the pressure should be. The tank indicator is here. The tank indicator matches the indicator in your overhead panel. If you have a question about it, you can always come down here and look at the tank indicator to see what the level is outside. Should match the one inside. And of course, this is your fill and overflow. So when the tank is being serviced, this is removed, filled, and 80% level is here. That is a petcock that the service person who's filling your tank would use those two to fill your tank. In our next compartment, we have our chassis batteries. The chassis battery disconnect, we showed you where that is. So if you are servicing these batteries, you want to have that turned off. Just beside the batteries, we have our leveling system, hydraulics, and solenoid. Of course, you can see the tank level here. This is the fill for the tank. And this is the pump motor. If you remove any of the battery wiring and you have a question about how it goes back together, that schematic is right on the back wall here. Just refer to this schematic to make sure your wiring matches the schematic before you turn anything on. We have our side camera for the driver's side here. So after you unlock this small compartment here, your DEF fill is here. Just uncap, fill with DEF, and put it back, then close and lock.